Good morning, guys. Braswell's Homestead here, doing a little bit of garden stuff, a little bit of seed starting stuff, and I thought I'd take you guys with me, show you what we got today. So we're going to be doing some peppers and tomatoes and stuff. We've got several varieties here. We got just regular old jalapeno peppers and the cinder jalapeno peppers, and I'm picking 2 jalapeno peppers because we like to do jalapeno poppers with cube steak and bacon and stuff. So I'm really interested to see which one of those jalapenos will put out the most stuffable jalapeno out of those 2 varieties right there. So we'll see how that goes. And then we've got some pepperoncini peppers, or pepperoncini. My grammar on them big words might not be the best, you know. Got a little bit of an accent, so hard to pronounce stuff like that sometimes. And then we've got the Lola banana peppers. Really excited about those. I like banana peppers. I like pickling them. I really like banana peppers. That's going to be a lot of fun for me. Then we got our tomato selection here, and these are all our indeterminate heirloom and heirloom variety types here. I really like the heirloom type tomatoes. This black creme, this will be my 3rd year growing the black creme. It'll be my first time doing seed starts on it, but I usually just buy them from the local man down in Bethune. But I really like this black creme tomato. It's by far my favorite tomato to eat for like sandwiches, BLTs and stuff like that. And I tell you, you can rinse that thing off and eat it like an apple. That is a good tomato right there. It has the best flavor, in my opinion, of tomatoes that I have tried. Now I got some new ones. Well, Better Boy, that's not a new one. I buy that one every year. That's a good producer for me. Better Boy always does really good for me. It's been a staple in my tomato program, so to speak, for many years. It's also an indeterminate variety. I know a lot of people like the determinate variety tomatoes that really just put on all at once and kind of at one time and only one time. But I like the indeterminate varieties. I'm a big tall guy, so I don't mind my tomatoes being 6 foot tall. It's not going to bother me none. At least then I can look at them without having to bend over. So I'm not opposed to indeterminate varieties. I like them. Now this one here is a hybrid of an heirloom. It came from the Cherokee purple, which is an heirloom variety, but this one has a little more disease resistance in it. It's also an indeterminate variety, and I just wanted to try it. I have not tried it. These 2 are new to me. I have not tried either one of these 2, and it looks to me like it might be very similar to that black creme, and I really like that black creme. So I'm excited about the Purple Boy. And Greg and them have just been talking about, I think it might have been last year, they did a video, I can't remember, but they said this was a really good tomato here, this Kellogg's breakfast tomato, and it's also an indeterminate variety. So I'm really excited about this one also. Yeah, so that's what we're planting today. And these seeds here, guys, these seeds are all germ tested here. You see that germ rate right there, 85% germination rate. So that means 85 out of 100 of these tomato seeds are going to germinate. So that, I mean, that's really good. That's really good, guys. Let's see here, a 96% germ rate on that hybrid Purple Boy there. That's amazing, actually. 94% on the Better Boy, 97% on the black creme. That's crazy. That's very good. So if you're doing seed starts, guys, obviously it's a lot cheaper. I think each pack of these seeds are somewhere between maybe $1.50 and $3, just depending on what you're buying here. And if you go to the local man down in Yabani guy or whatever, that cup right there with 1 plant in it is about $3. So, you know, if you have the space and the time and you really want to, seed starting can definitely save you a lot of money. If you don't really care, you're only gonna have 2 or 3 tomato plants, then yeah, sure, you should definitely buy them in the cups there, because I mean your seeds would go bad before you could use all of them. So but that's what we're doing today. peppers and tomatoes. I brought these guys out. That's some broccoli and cabbage and onions. I just brought them out. It's a nice sunny day. Wind finally quit blowing so bad. We've been having some high winds around here, so just brought those out, let them get a little fresh air. Now, I'm not ready to plant them. I'm not really trying to harden them off, so to speak, but yeah, it's a nice day, so they're outside. I did all these in the soil blockers, which I'll show you guys that too. But just a little tip, if you're doing soil blocks in a tray, do not fill your tray all the way up, because it's hard to get one out if it's all the way full. Leave yourself a little room to get in there and grab stuff. You know, so I got these two empty, got those two empty, got that one empty, and that just makes it a lot easier for you to get in there and grab them. If not, they kind of get, as you water them and stuff, it's almost like they kind of melt together just a little bit. I mean, obviously you can still get them apart, but they get a little bit sticky. So if you were to try to grab it like this, you're just going to pull the top off, and you risk damaging that root that you have nurtured there. So you don't want to do that. So, or if your trays are open on one end or something, if you built trays and they're open, you know, you can just grab them that way. But if you're using the regular old cheap plastic trays, leave yourself a little hole. A little pro tip for you there, because if you hadn't thought about it already, when you get ready to get these plants out, you know, I don't think you want to just turn it upside down and bang it on the ground. So, you know, and you don't want to cut your tray. So it's just a, you know, just easier, guys. It's just easier, and it's only 2 plants. So I think there's like 48 in there now instead of 50. So, you know, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna take out the ones that died on me. I had a lot of them just kill off on me for some reason. I had excellent germination on everything out here. The broccoli, the cabbage, and the onions. The onions really did very well. I lost a few of my cabbages, and well, I lost several of my cabbages and a few of my broccolis. So I'm gonna take out those empty cells, move the cabbages over, and I'm gonna do my tomatoes in there. I'm gonna go ahead and start my peppers in these bigger pots, just because I have the room in there. It's not gonna hurt anything to be in the bigger pots already, and then I don't have to pot them up. You know, peppers can be pretty tender, pretty sensitive, so I'll start them in those bigger pots, and they can stay in the greenhouse longer without becoming root bound or anything like that. So that's another, you know, just another little tip for you. A lot of people start them in the soil blocker or the little seed start trays like they have on Hoss Tools and stuff, and then they pot them up, and that's fine, that's cool. You can start a lot more of them that way and see what your germination rate is going to be like, and you don't have to waste a cup full of soil. But you know, I'm probably only going to do 10 or 12 peppers, so you know, I don't want to do a tray full. I just don't want to. I'm gonna start them in those pots right there, and if 1 or 2 of them don't germinate, then that's okay. I'm fine with that. That'll be all right. But anyway, that's what we're doing today, guys. And we use the soil blocker here, and it has developed some rust on it. So I believe it's just surface rust. I don't think it's in any kind of danger of being torn up or anything, but maybe I need to do a little better job of washing it off, or I don't know. But anyway, got my tub, and I'm just going to use regular old peat moss. Seed starting mix is nearly impossible to get in your local stores around here unless you get like a little 1 pound bag, and that just ain't going to do it, and it tends to be expensive. Whereas the sphagnum peat moss is pretty cheap, and it goes a long way, and I use it. I'm not worried about these seeds. Like I showed you on the packs, they have excellent germination rates. So, you know, and that's all germinated out of regular old peat moss. So that's up to you guys. If you have access to a sterile seed starting mix, you definitely should do that. But if it's kind of more of an aggravation than it's worth, I use peat moss, and it works, especially with these high quality seeds. Make sure you get seeds that are germ rate tested. It's just a little more insurance for you. If it costs you $1 more for 60 or let's see 30 seeds, so you know, if it costs you $1 more on a seed pack to have a germ tested seed that you know is fresh, it's definitely worth it. So I'm gonna take these old soil blocks here, and what I'm gonna do is dump them right here into my brooder. And what I'm doing is, hey guys, calm down. They were not a fan of that. Uh-oh, sorry about that, guys. Let me get that back out of there. So what I'm doing is I'm getting these chicks here to create soil amendments for me. I started some new garden beds this year over there against the side of the house and in the front yard too. And so they need a lot of amendments. And I'm going to be brooding chickens, so I filled this tub up with peat moss, and that's what the chickens are brooding on, is that peat moss. So as I get ready to clean my brooder out, I'll be able to take this peat moss that has had chickens on it for, I don't know, let's see, those bigger chicks are 6 weeks old maybe, and those smaller ones are maybe 2 weeks old, 2 or 3. So anyway, several weeks of chick brooder manure on this peat moss here, and I'll be able to add it as garden soil amendments. So again, using my chickens, working hard for me. Appreciate it, guys. You guys are the best. You're gonna make excellent soil amendments there for me, and I really appreciate it. Chickens, guys, chickens. Gotta have chickens. You can do everything with chickens. Chickens are the best. Appreciate y'all. So peat moss will absorb and retain a lot of water, guys, which is why I use it for seed starts. Helps keep those seedlings moist without rotting them, or causing them to rotting them without becoming rotten. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, so it takes a lot of water to get this peat moss wet enough to use with that soil blocker. So I'm gonna work it in here, guys, and I'll show you what the consistency is that I look for when I'm using this soil blocker. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, this is about what I'm looking for. It's not mud, but I can squeeze it and water comes out and it'll kind of stay formed. Because I mean, that's what the soil blocker does. It squeezes it. You mash it down in there and it squeezes it, and it stays in a block when you release it. So you see the water come out of it and it kind of stays in that shape. That is the consistency I'm looking for right there. All right, guys, try to show you guys the soil blocker here. It's nothing fancy. I'm sure you guys have seen them or looked at them, but all I do is take it, kind of mash it in there, get some of that inside the soil blocker there, and I mash it down on the floor, kind of rake it around, make it even on the bottom. You can see there's the soil blocks in there. Carry it over to my tray right here, squeeze them out. There they are. I'm not an expert master at this or anything, but I just showed it to you guys one-handed, so I mean, that should tell you right there, it ain't hard to do. Okay, guys, this is what we got here. We're gonna do 15 black creme, 15 purple boy, 10 Kellogg's breakfast, and 5 Better Boys. That is way more tomatoes than I need in these particular indeterminates. I usually buy some determinate varieties also, just a few that are already potted up from the local man, but I'm gonna try to start all these tomatoes, and hopefully I'll get good germination on all these, which I should, and a lot of them will make, and I won't have to buy any tomatoes this year. If I get all those tomatoes, or if I get 80% of all those tomatoes up, I'll have plenty of tomatoes for this year, and I won't be buying any. So this will be good. I'm excited. That's a lot of indeterminate varieties there, or a lot of tomatoes of the indeterminate variety. So I'm hoping to have a nice, long, healthy tomato season with all these. And all I'm gonna do now is just open them up, drop the seeds in the little holes there in the top of the soil blocker, and then I'm just gonna take some more peat moss and cover it up, kind of gently, lightly pack it down, not hard, but just enough to make sure that the seed has really good seed to soil contact. That's also important for germination. Good seed to soil contact is important. So I put the seed in the hole and kind of pat them down just a little bit, and they'll be ready to roll. Anyway, with these Hoss Tool seeds here, 97% germ rate, I'm only gonna put one seed in the hole. A lot of times people put 2 seeds in the hole, and that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But with a 97% germ rate, I'm just gonna put 1 seed in the hole, and I feel confident that I'll have a good stand with just 1 seed in the hole. There they are. We're just gonna get some of this dry peat moss here and just kind of sprinkle it over the top. Nothing to it really, not a lot, just a little bit. Just enough to make sure that seed's covered good. And we're just gonna kind of tamp it down just a little bit with our fingers here. Make sure that seed's got good contact. And that's it, guys. The black Krim tomatoes are planted. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. I'm gonna get on the rest of them, guys. Getting ready to do our peppers here, and I'm gonna do 4 of each kind of the jalapenos, and 8 jalapenos. That's a lot of jalapenos for us. But I tell you what, my wife Les, she makes some of the absolute best fresh homemade salsa. I cannot get enough of it. She does excellent with that salsa. And so that was part of my garden planning this year, was to try and grow everything here at home that we need for the salsa. So we got our tomatoes, peppers, onions, cilantro. Seems like there was another thing or two I can't remember, but that was part of my garden planning. So growing a lot of jalapenos, and I tell you what, I intend to eat every single one of them. Between the poppers and the salsa, I'm gonna tell you, we were slim pickings on peppers last year, and I think we had like I think we had 5, maybe something like that, jalapenos. So almost double what we had last year, and I'll bet you we're gonna eat a lot of them. Plan on putting up a lot of salsa and eating a lot of poppers, so it'll be good. I'm glad to have that many jalapenos. And we're gonna have some banana peppers. Me and my Uncle Mark, he also eats a lot of banana peppers, and we pickle them, and pepperoncini peppers, pepperoncini, whatever they are. Anyway, so that's a lot of peppers for us, but I'm really glad to be doing this many. It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about all this. So now I'm just gonna take this peat moss, put it in the pot, put the pepper seed in there, and cover it up. We got a problem. There's too much space left on the germination mat. So what I think I'm gonna do, I don't have any more of the just plain trays for the soil blocker, because the onions and cabbage are still in 2 of them. And that's my 3rd one. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna fill up this tray with tomatoes and peppers. Why not, right? Got a big spot over there. Maybe I can put them all in it, maybe I can't. I don't know, we'll see. But it don't hurt to have extra, right? Right? That's a good idea to have extra. So I think I'm gonna do 3 more tomatoes and 3 more peppers maybe, or flights I should say, be 18, right? 6, yeah, 18 of each. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Ain't no sense in having that beautiful germination mat in there without anything germinating on it, right? Yeah, I think so too. You guys are the best. Appreciate y'all. Unfortunately, the Lord did not bless me with a lot of patience. So I poured the peat moss in here dry. I was gonna try to just wet it in, but that's not working. As you can see, the bottom down there is still very much dry. So it would work eventually, but I don't have time for that. So we are going to dump this peat moss back out into my big soil blocker tub here, wet it down in there, mix it up real good, and then put it back in these little trays. I believe that will take the least amount of time, even though it's kind of like double work, double effort, because I already did it one time. It was just taking too long. It's taking too long for me, so here we are. We're gonna do this. All right. My beautiful wife doesn't know it yet, but I believe we are going to put, well, I'm gonna talk her into it, but she's usually pretty easygoing about my garden stuff. She pretty much lets me do whatever I want to. So we're gonna take these barrel plant things here and put cilantro in them. That'll be so much fun. Be great. Right here at the door, just go out there, get your tomatoes and peppers and get you a few onions off right there, and come by and grab you some cilantro and go right in the house and make salsa. That sounds like a pretty good winter to me. I'm gonna have to ease her into it though. Be real sweet. Maybe I'll cook her dinner or something. Who knows? I'm gonna name this tray the salsa tray. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more tomatoes. I'm gonna do the black creme and the purple boy. Do those 2 kinds of jalapenos again, and do 2 kinds of cilantro here. Let's call this the salsa tray. Now that looks much better. Get those other 2 trays back in here this afternoon. Be good to go. Got this big old germination mat. And if you guys don't have one, you really need to get one. I swear, I declare it makes all the difference having that germination mat. Especially when you're starting early and it's still getting cool out and all that stuff, you know, and you're trying to get a jump on the season. You really need one of those germination mats. It makes all the difference. Well, appreciate y'all spending some time with me today. Starting some seeds, just see how I do it. Everybody does it a little bit different. Nobody has to do it the same way. There's plenty of ways to do it. You know, they say there's more than one way to skin a cat, and that is true. And for those of you who don't know, they're talking about catfish, not felines. There's more than one way to skin a catfish, and then you can eat it. So more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to planting seeds, guys. There's a lot of people out there that do special mixes and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, and their success rate is probably a little higher than mine. You know, the more you put into it, the more you can get out of it. But with the easily available materials that I have, being just the peat moss that I get from my local guy, it's just easy. It works more than good enough for me. So don't be scared to try stuff, guys. If you can't find the sterilized mix and all this other stuff, or maybe it's just a little bit out of your budget, that's okay. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Just get you some peat moss and go to town. Now, that's just me, and it works for me. So the only downside really is a lot of those other people, when they mix their stuff in, they go ahead and add some fertilizers and stuff. I in particular don't do that. I wait for true leaves to come up, and I have this really nasty green bucket right here that has some organic stuff in it, and it's kind of a compost tea. And as the true leaves come on, I start watering every 2 or 3 days, just a little bit of that compost tea and it makes a good difference. I mean, you guys saw how the ones that did make it, you know, I had some losses, but they all look good. They've got good vibrant color on them. So you don't have to have all the fancy stuff, guys. You can do it with peat moss and a little bit of water and some trays. Reuse your old trays if you want to. Get you a soil blocker. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do this, guys. There's no one right or wrong answer. Just do whatever works best for you. What's most important is to be out here doing it. That's what's most important, is to get out here and grow you some food, and grow some food for your neighbors, grow some food for your chickens. You know, that's what's important, is really to be outside and enjoying God's creation. You know, in the beginning, our job was to take care of all the animals and all the land. You know, that was Adam's job. Name everything, look after it. So, you know, that's why you get a lot of pleasure from gardening and farming and stuff. That's why it tends to be a big stress relief for a lot of people. Now, this is just my opinion. This is the way I believe. This is my belief system. And you know, if you look at a lot of the old farmers that've been farming their whole lives, you know, they're 80 years old and they're still going. They're kicking, you know, kicking high. So there's something to it, guys, really. You know, it's really good for you. So just get out there and do it. You know, container gardening, raised bed gardening, a little bit of indoor gardening in the windowsill, you know, whatever you can do is what you need to do, because it's good for you. All right. Appreciate y'all.